Presentation video 3. In this video, there is a sample of the small group table presentation about a country that is suggested on page 24. There's also a discussion of how to work from an outline, and first is advice about your conclusion. The conclusion is the last thing your audience hears you say, so it's obviously very important. In the introduction, you tell them what you're going to tell them. You give them a preview. In the body, you tell them, and then in the conclusion, you summarize. You tell them what you told them. After the summary, it's a good idea to leave the audience with a final thought or a memorable idea. Martin Luther King, in one of his famous speeches, finished with free at last, thank God I'm free at last, which comes from a spiritual and was a very powerful way to remind the audience of his main points. And that's what he left them with. You summarize, leave the audience with a memorable idea or your final thoughts, and then you thank the audience for listening, and finally invite questions. You ask if there are any questions and offer to answer them. That's my advice for your conclusions. This section is about working from an outline. You work from an outline or from notes to avoid reading. If you read, you are not as engaged with your audience as you could be. The key to working from an outline is knowing what you want to say. If you know what you want to say, you don't have to read it. Of course, practice is critical as well. Have an outline to follow, practice with the outline, and use the outline for names or numbers or things you might forget, and practice. Know what you want to say, and you don't have to read. Next is how the outline for the country presentation was used. This is the outline for the following presentation. You see there's 3 parts: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The introduction, it says greeting. I know what the greeting is. I don't have to write out the text. I know my name. I know how to say welcome. It says attention grabber. I know that I will say something about how interesting Japan is, and I will give a preview. I wrote the title so I don't forget, and transition. It's informal, so I don't have a long introduction. In the body, I mention the geography. It's an island country. Flag, currency, population. Now, I know the flag is white with a red circle, and I know the currency is the yen, so I don't have to write down every word. Now, if I might forget that the population is 130 million, I can write that as a reminder. It says beauty, the beaches, the mountains, the colors. Colors? Well, if I might forget what the colors refers to, I might write fall and spring. In the culture, I'm going to talk about sumo and food. If I practice, I will know what to say. In the conclusion, I'll give a short summary about how interesting Japan is. I will thank the audience, and I will invite questions. If I'm not sure how to invite the questions, I might write, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer, so that I don't forget. The point is, you do not have to write a text of every word you want to say. Just make an outline or notes. If you practice, you will know what you want to say. You just need notes or an outline to refer to in case you forget or in case you become confused because you're nervous. You also might need to write down numbers or names or places that are hard to remember. Let's watch the presentation. Hello and welcome. My name is Jim Jensen. I am going to speak about Japan. The title is Japan, a Beautiful and Unique Country. And I chose to speak about Japan because it is beautiful and unique. Japan is an island country off the coast of Asia. There are many islands, but 4 large main islands. The flag is white with a red circle, and the currency is the yen. It's a very strong currency, traditionally strong. It's weakening a little bit now. The population of Japan is a little under 130 million people. The capital is Tokyo. It is one of the world's largest cities. Japan is an island country, volcanic island, so it's very beautiful. There are beaches and beautiful mountains. The most famous mountain, of course, is Mount Fuji. Japan is also noted for its beautiful cherry blossoms in spring. Stunningly beautiful. Less well known, but equally beautiful, is the change of colors in autumn. There are places in Japan that are just incredibly beautiful. Culturally, Japan is very interesting and unique. Kabuki, the literature, and of course the national sport is sumo, which is very unique and very interesting. And the food, the cuisine of Japan is internationally famous for its healthy aspects and its delicious taste. So Japan is a unique and a beautiful country. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them. Thank you again.